Hello, hello. My name is Justina Kanza. I am a Zambian immigrant living in Canada. I moved from Zambia in 2017, so almost 8 years ago now, and I initially came as an international student at the University of Toronto under the MasterCard Foundation Scholarship. And there I studied African Studies as a specialist and then Women and Gender Studies as a minor. When I was coming to Canada, I honestly didn't have many expectations just because I didn't know much about Canada. When you're back home, you hear about the American dream and we watch a lot of American movies, but close to nothing about Canada. So my expectations were quite low, but there's a few things that I was really hoping and looking forward to. And one was that it was going to be an easier life. If you grew up in Zambia, in Lusaka, very humble background, and just with a lot of struggle and stress here and there, every time you hear going abroad and moving abroad, it communicates ease to you and you think it's simple. So that's one thing I was looking forward to. And because I moved here when I was 18 years old by myself, I thought it would also be like I would be okay because I went to boarding school by myself when I was like 12 years old. I've almost always been away from my family. So I was a bit used to being away from my family. So I thought it would be the same thing being in Canada by myself. The reality was so different, honestly. One, it was extremely lonely. As much as I had community and I've built community in the village over the past few years, the journey has been extremely lonely, just being away from family, missing all the milestones, especially for me who hadn't been back to Zambia for 7 years up until last year. It was very challenging. And then with the expectation of it being easy, it is honestly so hard. It has been so challenging, especially with all the intersection identities that I have, being an immigrant, being an African immigrant, being a Black person, being a Black woman. And so all of these things have kind of played a role in the challenges and how I've had to navigate the system. So I don't know that I would say it's harder than what it would have been if I was back home, but it is definitely harder than what I thought it would be. And part of what has kept me going and just really navigating those challenges is being very intentional with what I do with my different identity instead of always looking at it as others look at it as a deficit, really restructuring and reframing it and looking at it as such an asset and such a piece of wealth and capital and really capitalizing on it. And even in the job market, because a lot of folks would want to hire immigrants, would not want to hire immigrants and would only hire folks that have Canadian experience or a Canadian accent and things like that. And so as much as those barriers have existed, I've had to be intentional about communicating my uniqueness as such a value for organizations that I'm serving. There's a concept, and I recommend anyone watching it, called cultural capital. And maybe I'll give it to the team at Thrive in Canada so that they can share this article with you. That has really played a big role in my life in really understanding that my language and my optimism and my aspirations and my ability to hold hopes and dreams, even when faced with challenges and even when my reality doesn't reflect that, are such an asset that I can even bring to the workplace, I can bring to my business. So that's what's kept me going. The other thing would be, and this pieces of, stories that I'm sharing, I also would like for you to take them as one advice that you can take away as an immigrant, whether you just moved to Canada or you've been here for a while, is really leveraging your cultural capital and your unique identity, even in the workforce and even as you navigate different things like business. The other thing that has kept me going, even amidst all these challenges, especially when you think of employment and all the barriers that exist for people like me to get into the workforce, is to create my own employment. And that has been through entrepreneurship. Believe it or not, entrepreneurship is something that anyone can do. And entrepreneurship is pretty much you identify a problem and you make sure that that problem is a problem enough for other people beyond just yourself. And then you create a solution that is both innovative and feasible, right? So that's something that has really helped me in navigating these challenges and being where I am today. And also that there's a lot of support for entrepreneurs out there. There's a lot of grants, a lot of accelerators, a lot of capacity building, a lot of mentorship for entrepreneurs like ourselves out there. And I would mention a few organizations such as my own nonprofit. It's called Okwera Academy. So we're a career accelerator helping Black folks in Canada build and launch careers by providing capital, capacity building, community coaching, and all the good stuff. There's organizations like the Black Founders Network. I'm actually heading to one of their events right now because they have a Smart Start Award where they gave my other tech business that I run called Granted $4,000 for me to get this idea off the ground. And this is a business idea that I just conceptualized like 3 months ago. So all this to tell you that there's a lot of support for entrepreneurs out there, and part of navigating the barriers that exist for us is not always just asking for a seat at the table, but building our own tables all together, and entrepreneurship offers that pathway. So that would be my piece of advice, and I really, really wish for you to thrive in Canada. So if you need any support and you need to connect with me, I'm happy to be connected with you as well, and bye.